Last week was a bit of a washout as the east coast of South Africa was hammered by record-breaking deadly rain. Work on our Mercedes bus to crossover overland motorhome conversion slowed right down. When the sun did shine again, work resumed in earnest. This week the guys at East Coast Scratch and Dent tried to make up for the lost hours. Meraai gets more attention than she has had since Pa fell off the bus. An old friend returns to work alongside Smokin' John, and Resin Man gets resining. All this and so much more in episode 77 of A Dream Called Meraai. For those of us living on the east coast of South Africa, we've just had a really hectic week. It's unbelievable what has happened up in Durban, and our thoughts go out to all families who have lost loved ones. I think the number is creeping up to the 500 mark of people who've lost their lives in these floods. So yeah, just really hectic stuff, and we really took a hammering. Our saving grace down here on the lower south coast is the vegetation. That slowed the water down. You know, we had over 400 mils, 479 mils that I measured. Anyways, let's move on to what we have to do this week, and it's a lot. Looking at Meraai as she is now, it does not look likely that Brahm and his team will have Meraai completed by our 30th of May deadline, a deadline that we set at the beginning of the year. We are at a critical stage of our build, and everything needs to be 100%. Last week I showed you all the little cuts that Smokin' John had made here in the steel, and he's already climbed in, and it has all been neatened up, and he's in the process of smoothing it all out. And when it's all very lacquer, then this will get sealed off just to make sure that it is protected against the elements. Smokin' John has finalized the lining up of all of Meraai's bent and buckled steel side supports. Meraai was skiff and now is as straight as an arrow. The tall smoking skinny guy has also done most of the work for our cassette toilet installation.
Pop it down.
The more time one spends around Meraai and the more research that one does, opens one's eyes regarding making the day-to-day operations of a vehicle like this a seamless, enjoyable experience. From when we started our build, I've always seen the sliders coming out, and they would have like hatches that would lift up on little gas struts. But I'm thinking now, are we not making a really complicated setup there? Because then you've got a flap that needs to open, it needs the gas struts to support it, and then you slide it out. So now I'm thinking, why don't we have a solid panel on here which becomes part of the drawer, and you just slide the whole thing out, and so it would have a bit of an upright sort of over here. I've got to bounce it on Brahm still, but to me it makes sense, and I think it'll just make the whole finishing up of the side panels a lot easier to do, well, theoretically. The advantage of this is that the side of the slider will also act as a windscreen on the sliders housing my little gas oven and my Smeg cooker. It is also a more cost-effective way of finishing the compartments off, so a win-win decision. Another good decision is the storage for our high lift jack. This is under the vehicle and out of the way, but easily accessible. I came down here just to show Brahm this idea I've got for the covers on the side of all our sliders, and I just pulled open the sink thing, and look here, check here. I didn't know they've done this. All the wood that you see here will be covered with stainless steel, so we have a hard wearing surface for our wash-up area. The kitchen work surface inside Meraai is also under construction and will also have a stainless steel finish. A clipboard with some of Smokin' John's artwork on it is a sign of activity in the woodwork department. The boxing in of our seating area is underway. The one seat will act as a storage for our water heater as well as general storage. That box you see behind me is going around that setup there, which is where our cooler box and the little oven goes. So the whole thing on the inside is going to have a wooden casing, and it will be painted to look all pretty, nice cushions on top. So yeah, lots of jigsaw puzzling going on at the moment. Quite a complex part of the jigsaw puzzle is that box behind me. That holds our geyser, or half of it. Now the geyser has got gas, electric, so we've got to make sure it's insulated. You must only be able to access it from the outside, so we've got to enclose half of that. So that is a little challenge all in itself. Around about now was a good time to look at the instructions.
Yeah, and then you do, what about the bottom? Yeah, the bottom also, yeah. Okay.
Bram and Smoke and John put their heads together to work out the best way to install our Hanson water heater.
Tight onto the floor.
In another section of the workshop, Meraai's dashboard template is coming along. Resin man Andre has now filled the wooden frame with foam and now needs to start shaping the mold. The only thing getting in our way and slowing us down comes courtesy of Eskom. Once again this week we have been hit with rolling blackouts, aka load shedding, and that's putting a bit of a spanner in the works. A few things have popped up, and one of them is, do we want power steering? And the simple answer is yes, but it depends on cost. So what I've done is I've approached the Oaks on social media, and there's a guy in Pretoria, part of the Unimog Club, who is looking into this for me to see if we can find a power steering rig that will fit my rig. These kind of rigs need power steering. They are big and heavy and often cannot go where normal cars go. I mean, here is an example of just that. Sometimes, just sometimes, 1 and 1 does make 2. Now look here behind me. See the glass on the floor? See the bent thing up top? Something happened here, people. Check this out. This poor O's power steering worked just fine. His eyes, not so much. So if you think you are having a bad day, please spare a thought for the oak who was driving that truck. Back at East Coast Scratch and Dent, the day was good. But Eskom was working on making it bad. Smoking John started on the water heater compartment and was storming along. However, we were now ramped up to stage 4 blackouts. I just arrived at East Coast Scratch and Dent. Load shedding is about to start, and I see Smoking John has opened up the whole area there for our water heater. So yeah, that's coming along like a... John then explained things to me, making everything as clear as mud.
See, that door opens down.
Right.
You can have this door open this way, down, which way you want to, but wherever, that's going to be on the door.
Now listen to this, just listen. Dead quiet. Now that's the good thing about load shedding. This like music folks play here 24/7. Dead quiet. Now, another good thing about load shedding is that Andre can carry on working on shaping the dashboard. Resin man Andre has added more foam to the center console part of the mold. Once it hardens, he sets about shaping the foam. Back at Meraai, a familiar face that we have really missed is back. Bram has pulled our mate Rocky into the fray. What is great is that now East Coast Scratch and Dent have given me their 2 number 1 fellas. So we've got Rocky and we've got Smoke and John working on Meraai. That makes me a happy boy. Material I have not seen forever is now being pulled from the bowels of the workshop. And that is the stainless steel that we bought months and months and months ago. So what's going to happen now is Rocky's going to set about starting to make the tabletops for our built-in table as well as our work surface and our little kitchen area. I remember that when I bought this stuff, it made a really big dent in our account. I was thrilled to see that it was as good as new, waiting for the master craftsmen to do their thing. First, using the wooden base as his template, Rocky marks out where to cut. Then he cuts. He cuts very carefully. With Rocky on the team, things really start cooking. The workshop is buzzing. The energy is wonderful. In fact, I feel better than James Brown, and he feels good. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, This is what I schmark. Resin Man Andre is busy with the final stages of shaping our dash. I am starting to see this more and more clearly now.
Here you can really see the dashboard now. So this foam is going to be the mold. This is the driver's part. Over here you're going to have all the instrumentation, speedo, other gauges. Steering wheel will be about there. When we come to the center console, you're going to have the radio with the air vent underneath here. There'll be an air vent here, air vent there, and if we can, another vent there, and another vent there.
And here we have the almost completed mold for our dashboard, with a bit extra added to accommodate the entertainment system. I cannot wait to see what happens next. Back at Meraai, Rocky has completed the stainless steel insert for our wash-up area, as well as a steel for our kitchen work surface inside Meraai. That's about all we got time for this week. Started off quite slowly, then picked up right at the end. Only concern I still have is we're a little bit quiet on the engine front, but hopefully next week we can bring you a lot more. Because the engine's been sitting for a week now, and I was really hoping, we would have got a bit further, but that will come. On other fronts, it was good to see that the Squirrel has decided to speak to the President of Ukraine. It's a baby step, but it is something. At least it's not the silence. The destruction there is just unfathomable. And as usual, my Ukraine friends, you are in my thoughts. And it's just terrible. Here in KZN and Durban, cleanup has begun. Lots of questions regarding where the money's going to go and what's going to happen to it. But parts of Durban look like a bomb hit it as well. Social media has been flooded with people praising our own superhero, Dr. Imtiaz Suleiman, and his team from Gift of the Givers. Maybe they should handle the funds being distributed to help Durban rebuild itself. Hopefully next week we will be leaping ahead. Close to a month to go. Look after yourselves and keep safe. Remember to like us on Facebook and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. You will find us under A Dream Called Meraai. Until next time, and keep your dreams alive.